All right, we are live now. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, South Africa. Good evening, fellow brothers and sisters. I greet you all, ladies and gentlemen, in the wonderful name of Jesus. My name is Kapela Majola. I'm from Dutyoseket 330. We'll be having a conversation, as you can see on your screens. We are having a legend. We are recording, we are having a conversation with a legend, a soccer legend, Mr. Sean Bartlett, all the way from Cape Town. Mr. Sean, can you hear? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you guys.
Yes. How are you doing, man?
I'm okay, keeping warm. Next to the fireplace here in Cape Town. It's a little bit cold.
All right, everywhere, and every time there's cold in the country, it's from Cape Town. The cold front is always from Cape Town.
Yeah, from Cape Town, but I think also in the Drakensberg is some snow. So I think that's why also Gauteng and Durban is getting the cold.
No, no, no. Thank you very much. Can you please introduce yourself so that everyone can know you?
Mm,
Because not everyone is a soccer supporter or soccer fan. So can you please
sure.
introduce yourself?
Okay. Sean Bartlett, former Cape Town Spurs, Bafana, Carlton Athletic, and Kaizer Chiefs striker. Also playing, coaching, was coaching Golden Arrows, University of Pretoria, Kaizer Chiefs, and lastly, Cape Town Spurs, the team that I started playing for 2 years ago.
All right. Uh, yeah, that is very true. That I know for a fact because I'm your biggest fan. Nonetheless, I want everyone to understand why we asked you to come and join us
Hmm.
and have a conversation or have a say on why there's decline in the football in the Western Cape. So I
Okay.
want to go through your credentials. Allow me to further
Okay.
introduce you. Yes.
Okay.
What I know is you were born in 1972, 31st
Hmm.
October.
Hmm.
Yes. And you were raised by your grandmother. I can
Hmm.
I'm not sure, but I can't pronounce the name. It's Fartretin, but in the Cape Flats
Yes. Fact written.
of Fartretin. Okay. Then you
Mm.
began playing for the team you first played for was a team from your church.
Yeah. That's
Yes,
how
and you
obviously
are
I got to play football. Yeah. Mm.
yes, and you love cricket, and you are a cricketer, a good cricketer still.
Yeah. I played many sports. Cricket is one of them, but it was a decision between that and football.
All right. As you've alluded earlier that you played for Cape Town Spurs, that is the team I believe is in your hometown. Then
Hmm.
you moved to Major League. You played for Colorado for 1996. Then 1997 you moved to Metro Stars in July. Then from
Mm.
there you moved to on a loan to Zurich.
Mm.
In the
So
year
yeah,
2000,
the Metro Stars was the last club I played for in America, and then I actually came on loan to Cape Town Spurs. That was
okay,
October 97 because I wanted to make the World Cup team in 98. That was the goal.
okay,
So I made the World Cup team, and then after the World Cup in 98 in France, I signed for Zurich from America.
okay. Then from there in 2000, you moved to earn a loan to Charlton
Mm.
Athletic. Then they gave you a permanent offer in the year 2001.
Hmm.
Then you scored his goal of the season in the season 2000 and 2001 season. Goal of the
Yeah,
season, the goal you scored was against Leicester City.
that's correct.
Yes. Then you left in 2006. You signed for Kaizer Chiefs. You came back. Then you
Mm.
retired in 2008. Sorry, you were then retired after. But in 2008,
Mm.
after serious negotiations, you went back to football. But then you joined Punya Selesel.
Yeah, so that was almost like a favor, to be honest. I stopped playing at Chiefs, and then 6 months later, the coach at the time at Bloem Celtic was Mitch de Evere, who was my coach at Cape Town Spurs. and he felt that my experience will help them in the situation they were in. They were fighting relegation. So I went and helped him, and yeah, we avoided relegation. And then afterwards, Coach Owen de Gama took over, and that's when I left the club.
Yeah. Mr. Patlet, then your first game, as in your debut game for Bafana Bafana, was a friendly game
Mm,
against Lesotho. That was in the
yeah.
26th April 1995.
Mm. Yeah, that was
Mm.
probably 6 months after I got my first call up for Bafana Bafana. We used to play these tournaments, Simba Four Nations tournaments, where they invite other countries, and you would have a mini tournament. And after that, I managed to come on off the bench against Lesotho, the game we won. I think Dr. Kamalo still scored in that game. It was a friendly game. And yeah, that was the start of my international career.
All right. Then, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know this. He's a second all-time goal scorer for Bafana Bafana behind Benny McCarthy with 29 goals after
Mm,
74 appearances. He won the Nations Cup in 1996 and he played in the 1998 FIFA World Cup that was in France and he scored 2 goals. I'm talking about a manager who's managed Golden Arrows. And in fact, he didn't just manage Golden Arrows. He got Golden Arrows to be promoted to the Premier League in 2014-2015 season. Then assistant coach at Kaizer Chiefs, then Cape Town Spurs. So that is the kind of person we're talking to this evening. So I just wanted everyone to understand why we felt that you are the right person we can talk to understand the
mm,
decline or
yeah.
the decline in the standard of football in the Western
Mm.
Cape. So heading along with it, do you agree with us that the standard of football in the Western Cape has really declined so that we can move
Yeah,
forward?
it's always a tricky question because I believe that there's a lot of talent in the Western Cape. Obviously, I was part of the success we had 2 years ago when we got the club promoted to the Premiership, Cape Town Spurs. And from that team, quite a few players moved on to Stellenbosch and Kaizer Chiefs and other clubs. But there is definitely a decline, in my opinion, in the way clubs are run, not necessarily in producing talent or the football itself, but because of the way clubs are run, players are not being looked after. And then you find the result is obviously like we saw last season, two clubs getting relegated in the same season.
Very bad, very bad. When it comes to talent, yeah, the talent is there, and I believe the associations in the Western Cape, because there are I believe, three major associations in the Western Cape, which is the Cape
Mm,
Town Tigerberg Local Football Association, Cape
mhm,
District Football Association, and the Northern Suburb Football Association. Surely those leagues, they produce quality players, but as you are saying,
yeah.
they are not looked after and they are not molded
Mm,
and shaped and prepared for the Premier Division.
yeah.
As a result, we see what
Mhm.
is happening right now, which is very bad. So I'm not sure. I don't want. We can move along, but as we have, my colleague is with us. So, do you have anything to say, my brother? I think we've lost. I think we've lost him. So I believe let us move. Let us move. Why has it been so tough for football to progress in the Western Cape? But I think with so many local, but I think you've alluded to that one, that they are
Mm,
not looked after the players. Yes. Now,
mm,
football has got politics now.
yeah.
Football in our days has politics. Does political assistance, which is mayors, premiers, MECs, help in growing football?
Well, they're there to support because at the end of the day, the football clubs, wherever they are situated, whether it's Cape Town, Durban, or Joburg, the municipalities, they try and support the clubs as much as they can because you need facilities. I think that something that's recognizable around the country. They are not, I think, off the top of my head, I think only Orlando Pirates own a stadium. Everybody else have to rent the stadiums from the municipality. So the municipality is always going to be important for football clubs financially because if they don't have to spend money on renting the facilities, they can obviously look after the players more. So I think that is a big I think question as to how far municipalities are supporting their clubs in the different regions.
All right. Now, one thing I've realized or I've seen, and I believe I'm not myself only, even from the Eastern Cape, players prefer moving from our areas, more especially here in the Eastern Cape, for them to
Mm.
get a proper grooming and guidance, mentorship, so that they
Yep.
can cope with the pressure and all that in the Premier League. They prefer moving to Johannesburg. So what do you think
Mm.
is the secret with the Gauteng teams in as far as management of football is concerned?
Well, it's not a secret. I think everybody knows it's not just in football. Whichever job, if you move to Gauteng or Joburg specifically, you earn a lot more money than what we would do in your own town. I think that is the big difference. They look after the players financially, and I think that's why everybody wants to be and play for a club in Joburg. But like you just indicated, why should players move from their own town in order to further their careers? Why has no structures been put in place um, in order to get these players to the next level? If we had put structures in place after 2010 and had a development center in Eastern Cape, a development center in Free State, a development center in KZN, Western Cape, and Gauteng, all these players could have played at their own clubs and their own clubs would have competed at the highest level. So that is what you ideally would want for this country to have, is to have, and you have top of my head, if I can just, in Neil Tovey in KZN, you have a Patrick Mayo that's in the Eastern Cape. You even have Western Cape, you can have a Nassif Morris in Bloemfontein. There's players that obviously played for Bloem Celtic as well. Moses Pandel, he played for Bloem Celtic. So there are players around the country that can run these centers and develop players and produce better players for their club so they can also compete. They don't always have to go to Gauteng and play for the clubs there in order to have a good career. I think that is the one thing that we need to change in the mindset that players actually can stay in their own hometowns, and if they want to move, for me, that move should go to Europe, not necessarily in South Africa. We need to export more players into Europe in order to get different experience and also better quality level of football in order to bring back and improve our national teams.
All right. As I'm listening to you, you are naming players who are legends of the game, who
Yeah.
know, who've been there, who've walked the walk. Now I'm thinking,
Mm.
you know, after SAFA decided to call upon the retired players, to be specific,
Mm.
Neil Tovey as their the likes of Neil Tovey as they consult from them for
Yeah.
assistance and all that. You've got Helman Mkelele as the assistant coach of to
Yeah.
Mr. Bros. Now, do they call you guys in the Western Cape asking the LFCs, the local the associations, so that you can advise them here and there, ask for workshops where you'll come and facilitate and educate them, guide them on what needs to be done because
No,
you've been there, you've done this. Do they call you guys?
it's a one-word answer. No. I've never been asked in the past any time to come and give assistance or to give advice or to help in any way in order to take our football forward. Never.
And as a result, we see the decline. We
Well,
see the decline from far.
mm,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you can continue.
no, no. I was just gonna say, and it's sad because I think, like you've said as well, in Eastern Cape there's so much talent, the Western Cape, everywhere around the country, but we don't see that talent always going to the highest level. Why? What is our association doing in order to get these talents into the highest level of football by nurturing and developing them.
Oh, this is sad and bad because now we have a crisis. It's another pandemic, moral
Mm,
degeneration. We have a
mm,
pandemic. The youth, we call them AMA 2K. The only way,
mm,
in fact, not the only way, the other way we could help them is through sport, and soccer is one of the sporting games
yeah.
we can use. But unfortunately, they
Mm,
are not nurtured, and then we cry out loud that they don't have morals and all that. When though
mm,
when though we see there's a problem, we do not consult from the legends like you. It's that bad.
mm.
Now, my other question would be no local coaches involved in developing grooming young players. Are there any local coaches that are used by the teams around Western Cape? Local coaches
Uh,
that you know of?
well, I think it's a difficult one. It depends on which teams you're talking about, professional level or LFA. Um, I think most of the time these guys are just doing their own thing when it comes to developing players. So um, there's not like spoke earlier. There are not many teams. You have Cape Town City at the moment that's playing Motsepe Foundation Championship, and then you have Stellenbosch on the other side that's playing in the Premiership. So there's no other teams that's really gonna give you an opportunity or a base to develop yourself. Cape Town Spurs are looking to buy another franchise in order to be in the NFT. They haven't succeeded yet. So there's a lot of players around in the Western Cape especially that I know that's looking to give back and to further develop and nurture the talent that's here. One of my former players, Shane Pochenpoel, he's started coaching as well now. So there's so many of them. Dominic Isaacs, Thabo Mngomeni. I think now recently he's been roped in with the under 17 national team. But
Yes.
there are so many players here that don't get the opportunity to actually be involved and to give some sort of experiences to these players what that wants to get to the highest level.
Yes, Thabo is used here, even here in the Eastern Cape, because he is coaching a team from ABC Motsepe,
Mm.
assisted by I forgot the name of this legend who was playing for he was playing midfield for Chippa United. He retired, I
Okay.
think, 2 seasons ago. The guy
Mm.
who injured Kune, here on the nose. I forgot his name, but he is working with him on the Motsepe League here in the Eastern Cape. They are working together. I've seen them
Okay.
coming this side. Yes,
It's not
coming this side to pay.
Umbayani. No.
No, 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 no.
No.
It's not him. It's not
No.
him. I
Okay.
forgot the name, but yes, I'll remember the name. Now,
Mm.
uh, coming back to you, how was it moving from Cape Town playing in Johannesburg? We've heard on the rumors in the media that there's this thing of tribalism, Johannesburg players not accepting players from other provinces. Did you experience
Mm.
such?
Well, obviously, my travels took me outside of South Africa before I moved to Joburg, so that's slightly
Okay.
different. I didn't move from Cape Town to Joburg. From like you said, I moved from Cape Town. I went to America, went to Switzerland, and then England, and eventually came back to play for Chiefs. So that's after 12, 14 years abroad. I came back and played for Chiefs. So I think at the time, I was obviously more experienced, older players. So you sort of get that automatic respect
Yes,
from
yes,
all the young
yes.
players. So for me, it was quite easy. But I know there have been in the past a lot of players that come from Cape Town, gone to Joburg, whether it be Pirates, Chiefs, or Sundowns, and didn't make it, struggled. And the lifestyle sometimes also got to them because it's a different lifestyle to Cape Town. And when you get caught up in that, then your football will always obviously suffocate or be on a decline. I can put it that way. So that's maybe why some of them haven't had success in Joburg. But you look at a player like Munib Josephs, he's made Joburg his second home. When he left Cape Town,
Yes.
he went Pirates and Wits. he was exceptional. So I think there are a few players that succeeded in Joburg as far as playing for those Gauteng teams are concerned.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Now, if you just joined us, welcome. We are speaking to a legend, football legend, Mr. Bartlett Sean. Time now is 23 minutes after 6 o'clock. I'm Kapela Majola, as you can see. I've got my other colleague. I'm not sure if he has something to say. Do you have anything to say, my brother,
I
before I
have.
move
Good
forward?
evening. Good evening. Thanks, my brother. Good evening, Mr. Sean Baglet.
Good evening.
All right. When I listen to you, I hear that there is a disconnect between the clubs and the
Mm,
community and also the legends as well, because you say that the
mm,
clubs, they don't involve you guys, they don't consult you guys. So what I want to know is, are there any academies or the schools or anything that is done by the clubs or even the grassroots structures? Are they there? Are
mm.
they existing at all?
Yeah, I think most clubs have their academies. But my biggest challenge with these academies, it start too late. You can't have kids in your academy starting at 10, 12 years old. That for me is too late. If
Yeah,
you can remember maybe a month or 2 months ago when Trent Alexander left Liverpool in England,
yeah.
everybody was saying he was 20 years at Liverpool and he was 26 when he left. So that means from the age of 6 years old, he was at Liverpool. How many academies in this
Oh yeah, so they
country
start
How many academies in this country start at the age of 6 years old? Zero.
they start very late. So compared to the time when you were playing, maybe, and look at the time now that we have the
Yeah.
academies now. You say the difference is only the age, or were they stronger before?
The competitive nature was much stronger before from a young age. So I think now it's only recently that academy has come into professional football or being set up in a way to nurture talent. But still, most of these academies don't take kids on before the age of 10. And when you
Yeah,
do that, it's difficult to teach a boy or girl from 12 years old something new when they've already picked up 5, 6 years of bad habits. You need to start at a younger age, make it fun, but let them learn the fundamentals and the technical skills necessary in order to be a great football player. And that's why you can see in Europe, everybody's going
yeah.
crazy, when Yamal made his debut at 16 at Barcelona and no, even before guys like Michael Owen, Wayne Rooney, these guys at 16, they're playing in the first team. How many 16-year-olds do you see in our PSL playing?
We hardly see them.
Well,
In,
exactly,
in,
because
yeah, because
we believe
even there
we
are even
believe
few
at
guys
that
that are in
we,
their 20s.
yeah, we believe at that age development only starts, and that's obviously where we're getting it wrong.
Yeah. Can I chip in on that one?
Mm,
The development part, even I believe you, gentlemen, know these things, see these things from overseas. Have you seen full Mr. Musimane's academy is doing? How good it is
mm,
doing
mm.
in Pretoria? I'm not sure about the name of the academy, but it has
Ah,
got
this is
12. 14. Yes.
but it's his name, Pizza Mosamani Soccer Schools. He's linked up with
Yes.
some private schools in order to develop talent. But what ages did you just mention now?
12, 13, 14, 15.
That's my argument.
And yeah. But we need, as Tosen, we call it ukuzigqatsa. I'm not sure in English
Mm,
how to put it.
mm.
We need you legends to do that, to pop up. Is it pop up? Ukuzigqatsa between this isiXhosa wrong, isingesi wrong.
Yeah,
We need you
Yeah, that's
guys.
correct. Yeah. Pop up.
You
yeah.
just pop up and volunteer yourselves, because if the standard of football in the Western Cape deteriorates the way it is doing right now, then it's going to prove to be detrimental in the near future.
Mm.
So please save the nation. Please, please.
No, I've been doing my things already in the last few months. In the next coming months, we introducing football in public schools because I believe everybody needs to have the same opportunity. And through my foundation, that is what we're going to do in the Western Cape. And hopefully, when it's successful, we can also take it to the whole nation and see how we can get football back on the map. Because, next year will be 50 years since we last won a trophy as a senior men's team. So it's something that needs to change because we have everything in this country. If there's no facilities, you use what you have. Everybody knows. You can even see now on TV, Ikasi football. It doesn't have to be on a grass pitch. You can play football anywhere. So it's a matter of putting structures in place and obviously safe environment for these kids to play.
That's very true. Do you have a dream of owning a team?
Yeah, eventually. But I think for now, the important part is to give these youngsters opportunity and foundation to fulfill their dream of, making it to the highest level.
Oh, okay. Back here, there at home, as in the Western Cape or outside the province?
At the moment, I'm in the Western Cape, and that is where I'm doing the program with the public schools here.
All right.
Yes,
Brother,
okay. And you
anything
think,
to say?
and you were talking about the talent retention as well, that most of them they go
Mm,
to the cities, like
yeah,
to Joburg, because Cape Town is
yeah.
also a.
Mm.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, Kapel.
Wesley, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Now you were talking about the talent retention as well,
Mm,
because you're saying that most of them they also leave Cape Town and they go to Joburg.
yeah.
And don't you think maybe PSL, I don't know, maybe also and SAFA, they also have a responsibility to address the regional imbalances as well?
Yeah, I think it's quite evident when you look at national teams, where um, most of the talent or most of the players are selected from. Um, it's not necessarily from around the country; it's predominantly from one region because most of the clubs is in that particular region. So
Yeah.
I think it becomes almost a little bit, you know, automatic or self selective in the way teams are chosen. But I think if there's structures in place where you improve every province or every region in order to produce better players, it can only benefit the national teams in the future. In the long run, it will be better to have players from around the country to represent the national teams.
Oh, all right. Uh,
Mm,
Now, you know, I've followed you. I have known you since I was a young boy, watching
mm,
you guys making football very simple. And I can boldly say, because it's my opinion, so
mm,
I can put my head on the block and tell you that your crop of players, your Dr. Kumalos, your Shoes Musheu, your
mm,
John Muweti, your Eric Tinkler, you as a striker, Mark
mm,
Williams, man on the left, David Nyati on the as in left winger, left back, David Nyati,
mm,
Umtaung on the right, Mark Fish, central defense, Neil Tovey, central defense, Lucas, central defense, Linda Butelezi,
yeah.
mid, defensive mid. That was the last crop of players or the last team, a formidable team our country
Mm.
has ever had. I promise you.
And you ask any of those players who played for an academy, it will probably be one out of the whole group. Because for us, it was amateur football, very competitive, good quality, and then eventually playing for professional clubs around the country. Where Neil Toby was KZN, eventually moved to Chiefs. Doctor was always obviously in Gauteng with Chiefs, Shoes also, Blackpool Chiefs. So myself and David Niati managed to play at Cape Town Spurs and still make the national teams. Andre Arendse also the goalkeeper. So yeah, Mark
Yes.
Williams was at the Hellenic and then moved to Sundowns and Chiefs. So it was yeah. I think a lot of people have said that. I think that was the last time a national team represented the whole nation from all demographics and cultural backgrounds.
And as you can see, as you can hear me, they are here. We knew the
Mm.
starting lineup. In fact,
Yeah,
we knew who Clive was going to call up to the national
yeah,
team. We knew the
yeah,
starting lineup. We knew who was going to be substituted. We knew we just knew you guys like an open book. You guys understood each other as if you grew up from an academy
yeah.
together. So it's surprising that you are telling us that you never went. Most of you guys never went to any academy. You played amateur
No.
football, then switched to
Hmm.
top flight football.
Yeah. No, amateur football was, and especially in the Western Cape, it was very competitive. So we never went to any academies. Actually, I also worked part-time when I played for Cape Town Spurs professionally. So our jobs didn't pay us enough in order to be full-time. So you had to work 9 to 5. And then in the evenings you go train with your club. Weekends you go play matches. And in those days, even we used to play two matches in the NSL first division. We used to play on a Friday night. You would go play Wits, and on a Sunday you would play another team, Morocco Swallows, and then you would come home to Cape Town. So in those days, it was even more crazy when it comes to playing matches.
All right. My next question, I'm going to put your head on the block now with my next
Yeah.
questions, the following questions.
Mm-hmm.
Which player, in your opinion, is the
Mm-hmm.
best player in fact, let's say midfield, attacking midfield, who was fitting you, the best midfield you played with?
In South Africa,
Yes, in South Africa.
I will say David Modise
David Modise. David Modise,
at
I
Cape Town
believe played
Spurs.
for Cape Town
He
Spurs.
was he was with me at Cape Town Spurs, and then when I moved to America, he moved to Kaizer Chiefs with David Niati.
Oh, okay. Now, moving along, best
Yeah.
coach, both internationally and national. The
Mm.
best coach who ever coached you.
Yeah, I think Clive Barker is definitely the local one uh, from South Africa and international. Um, yeah, not many people know, but I had Carlos Alberto Pereira that used to be the national team coach in 2010. He was my coach in
Yes.
New York when I played there. So he was the international coach.
All right. Now, hey, I'm thinking, hey, Clive Barker. Even Dr. Kumolo once said this. He mentioned Clive. Now he
Mm.
says, Clive, you guys took us to the 1998 World Cup in France.
Yeah.
Then he says, after that, you played an international game, but when you were traveling back during the flight, then Clive just decided to stand up and tell you guys that was his last game with you guys. He's leaving. He's not going with you. He is not going to France with you guys. How was the feeling? Because Dr. Kumalo, when I was listening to him narrating that
Mm.
story, he got very emotional. How did
Mm.
that make you feel when
Well,
Clive
the
announced
unfortunate
that?
the unfortunate part for me was I wasn't part of that team. Um, I went to Saudi Arabia to play the Confed Cup in Saudi Arabia because we won the Nations Cup in '96. So all the continent winners got to Saudi Arabia, and when I think you lost two games, and that's why Safa decided not to keep him on. But he was the guy. He was the coach that got us to '98 World Cup. He's the one that obviously with Phil Masinga when he scored that goal against Congo at FNB, Clive Barker was the coach. it's very unfortunate that we didn't get to see him to be the coach at the '98 World Cup.
Yeah, I know it was the goal. I still even remember the goal that Phil scored. The ball was
Yeah.
intercepted by Dog, put it through to Masinga, then Masinga hit it
Yeah.
a stunning goal outside the box. I still remember. Now, fast forward, moving to the World Cup. You had a Philip Trozier, I believe. It was Philip Trozier, right? The coach that took you guys to the
That's
World Cup.
correct. Yeah.
That's when he introduced Hans Fong as the keeper, and who was the defender? Hans
Pierre
Fong
Issa.
and Pierre. Yes, Pierre Issa. Those were new players in the team, and I believe you guys you played few friendlies with them. How was the feeling at the camp? How was the atmosphere?
No, as players, we accepted what was decided. They were South Africans, so even though they were born here and left the country, they were still South Africans. So for us, it was not a problem. I think the biggest problem was with the coach. The coach was too aggressive with some of the players, and I think sometimes you don't want to play for a coach like that. And I think that's where the problems came in '98 between the coach and some of the players.
All right, I know, I get you. Before we let you go, we have got another pandemic in the country. We can't let you go without hearing what you have to say. Gender-based violence, brother, is hitting hard on us. It's hitting hard on our women, children, and mothers. So, any comment on that one before we let you go?
Yeah, then I think the unfortunate part is always that most of these issues stems from alcohol abuse as well, and it's something that I think, like I said, from a young age, we need to teach our boys how to be respected men and how to. That's why when players come to me, the first thing I say to them is, you come to me and we're here to make you a better man, not a better player, because if you have a better man, you will automatically look after people, and that is how they also play their sport. Football is a sport. It's a team sport, but the more individuals you have in your team looking after each other, the more results you will get. And I think we need to start from a young age how to teach our kids to be respectful and also to how to treat other people, irrespective of cultural backgrounds, race, religion, anything. So that's the important thing is, and if you don't respect yourself, it's very difficult to respect other people.
Thank you very much. We should all understand that women hold the other side of the sky. We hold this side and they're holding this other side. So we need to work together. We're about to let Sean go. I'm not sure. Comment from the listeners and viewers before we let our brother go. So in the absence of a hand, then I'll assume that there's no comment or any question. Brother, do you have any closing comments? All right. In the absence of his hand, then I'll assume that we are done. Brashon, thank you very much for making time for us. Thank you very much for educating us. I'm very honored and humbled to have spoken to you. It has always been my dream to talk to you guys, because we grew up in these remote areas and we see you on TV and we think that we'll never ever see you or will never talk to you. So personally, I'm very humbled and honored. So on behalf of the listeners and viewers, thank you very much once again.
Thank you. It was an absolute pleasure. And like I said, I always say to any child, don't let the circumstance or your environment decide where you want to end up. If you have a dream, work hard to make that dream a reality. If you told me at 10 years old I was going to play in England, I was going to say, I live in Factoryton. And one day when you're in Cape Town, I'll take you to Factoryton and you'll see. It's not a nice place, but you work hard, you can get out of there. And I think that for me is always important. Every child in this country has a dream to be someone someday. Work hard at it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you.
And I'll hold
Thank
you to that. When I come to
Yeah.
Cape Town, I'll call you, and you'll. In fact, before taking me there, I have to meet you. I want to shake your hand, because
No
that's the
problem.
first thing. Take a
Yeah.
picture with you, then you can take me to anywhere, please.
Yeah. The person that can make that happen is Rob Delport. He knows.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very
Thanks.
much.
Thanks. Okay. Take care.
Yes, to our listeners, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for making time. We've come to the end of our show. That was Mr. Sean Bartlett, the former player of Kaizer Chiefs, former player of Charlton Athletic in the Sea Over the Mountains. He's played for Bafana Bafana. He's played for everywhere. He's a legend. He's a legend. So I believe I'm a legend too. You can't you can't talk to or speak to a legend or have a conversation with a legend and then underestimate your potential. So, and he says, mandibelieve kum. So ndiyakholelwa kum enkosi Bushon. Ndiyabulela mntakwethu kakhulu kakhulu. Ndiyabulela nakunye once again baphulaphula. Ndiyabulela guys. Thank you very much. Before I let you go, let me remind you that the future is not some place we are headed. Instead, it is what we are making every day. And the route to that future changes both the maker and the destination. Thank you very much, guys. See you next time. Bye.